Did you know that 100 out of 100 people are suffering with subscriber phobia? So if you hit the subscribe button, you're cured! Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Average Tea Drinker here, and in this video I'm going to go over 3 Elementalist builds for Mythic Plus. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to get our hands on a new tier set and just start Rambo machine gunning down primordial waves on every living mob. I'll be going over each build with their strengths and weaknesses, and what builds you'd most likely play with certain affixes and dungeons. Quick announcement, I do stream on Twitch and I will be blasting keys with the new season being released this week, and then once I've played through the dungeons a few times, I'll be making my tips and tricks videos again for season 3. Just as a disclaimer, this is mostly Mythic Plus focused in the video, but I'll briefly mention the raid builds at the end of the video. So, kicking off with the first build is Dr. Freeze, hope you like the name, where we swap out Lashing Flames and Sundering for 2 points in Legacy of the Frost Witch. This build I'd personally recommend to new or returning players, or if you don't like using Lashing Flames because it can be a little bit tricky. The aim of the build is just to send out as many Frost Shocks and Empowered Frost Shocks as you humanly can, and then cycle your Maelstrom Spenders for Legacy of the Frost Witch buff uptime, as it increases your physical and frost damage by 25%. I'll link a weak aura in the description, which will tell you when to spend your Maelstrom stacks, so that it can guarantee the Legacy buff and the Storm Strike reset. This is a pretty straightforward build, and I believe it will give you a nice little introduction to the piano priority style that Enhancement currently is for Elementalist builds, instead of your normal rotation list as most other specs have. The second build is called The Funneler, hope you like it. I'd suggest you use this build on heavy AoE dungeons and for dungeons with lots of priority targets, which need to die in big packs. It's similar to the standard Elementalist build, but you drop Ice Strike and Hailstorm for Fire Nova and Swirling Maelstrom. There is an alternative for this build where you play Tempest Strikes instead of Elemental Blast. Having tested that in a key, I felt like the single target was pretty lackluster, and you also lose your Omega Juicer Elemental Blasts for priority targets and a bit of boss DPS. It's less clunky to play than the standard build, so it's easier in that aspect, and who doesn't like seeing their Fire Nova filling their entire screen? Right, so for the final build, the Holy Grail. This build you can run in any key and you'll most likely find the best consistency in terms of damage profiles. It has great funnel, great single target, slightly less AoE in massive pulls but more AoE in smaller pulls. There are some flex points in here with Sundering and Swirling Maelstrom, which can be swapped around for more Elemental Assault points. So if you wanted more damage in Tyrannical, you can put an extra point in there. I'll briefly mention Wind Fury Totem, but with how stacked our tree is and how important each point currently is, unless you're running with like an incredibly heavy melee team, I'd personally not take it outside of that. Blizzard at this point really just need to give us Wind Fury Totem baseline. It's really silly that it's such a core ability since vanilla and yet we don't have it baseline. But yeah, that's another rant for another day. Regarding this build, as a new player or returning player, it can be tricky to get used to what procs are needed to be pressed at specific times, but ultimately, the more you throw your head into this build, you'll build up that muscle memory and you will become better off going forward, as it's looking to be the staple build in Mythic Plus and the new raid. I'm super happy with how Enhancement is overall and how it's shaped up in Dragonflight so far. We have nice build diversity and so many juicer talent tree nodes. So if you haven't made a Shaman ult already, then what are you actually doing? And I expect you to make a Shaman straight after this video. Right, so with the Storm build, if you enjoy playing it and prefer over the Elementalist build, just play it, as ultimately the game is here for fun and your own personal enjoyment. So if you do prefer that playstyle, it's not really going to matter unless you're in the top percentage of keys anyway. Regarding the raid, I believe the Storm build is the top dog with single target still, and it's only really with this patch that Elementalists kind of creep back up in single target. So if you do like the Storm style, here's a little rhyme: just Storm Strike all day, if you like it that way. As you can see, this is 1 week of Heroic. Both builds are still being played, and it will likely still be that case months down the line too, just like last year. I'll quickly show the single target build, and that will be slightly changed once we acquire the 4 set. So as you can see it now, we would just swap out Sundering for a Primordial Wave. I hope you guys liked the video and are enjoying 10.2. I'm still going to be doing my mount videos, I'm just gathering footage, and I've been a little busy with the new patch. I'm learning the new dungeons currently for the tips and tricks videos, so I can make the same series for Season 3. So stay tuned for more videos, you'll get them juicy upgrades in the new raid and Mythic Plus, and I shall see you next time.